Theoretical knowledge and wisdom are entirely different. See, if you want to read the Vedas or even Upanishads and other things, better go to take an admission in the university where Vedanta is taught. A Vedantic professor is one generally who has not practiced Vedanta. But he can teach Vedanta much better than we do, because teach means in the theoretical sense, because they have read many commentaries on that, they will take the cross references from here, there, many things. They may give a much better presentation of the Vedantic truth, but it may not, of course, appeal. It depends on the person. You have to have the truth from a person who is living the truth. So a professor of Vedanta is not supposed to live the truth. He may have his ordinary life, but in the class he teaches Vedanta. Nobody expects him to follow. There was a sannyasin who was teaching us. He was an accountant in IIT Kharagpur. He was unmarried. He was only waiting for his mother. That when the mother passed away, he took up sannyasa and went to Rishikesh. So after taking up sannyasa, he came back once to say goodbye to the others. So he went to his teacher who had taught him Vedanta. He's a great Pandit. He also is a very austere person, renowned austere, but scholarly person and austere person also, living to some extent it is so. So he prostrated before him, saying that I am taking up sannyasa, I have taken up sannyasa. So you are the person who has taught me Vedanta. So I first thought that first I will come to you and prostrate before you. The teacher prostrated before him immediately. He said that I have taught you Vedanta, but the result of learning Vedanta has not unfolded in me. That has unfolded in you. You might have been my student, but you have got relieved from the world. You have taken up sannyasa. That is the result of Vedanta. So you need not prostrate before me. I have to prostrate before you. And he did actually. So a professor is not supposed to practice what he is teaching. Normally in this. Earlier days it was not so. Because the studies used to take place in Gurukula. And normally, if not the ultimate truth, to the extent they were living the truth, accordingly they would teach. Nobody would teach unless he lives the truth. Even in Gandhiji you find the story that the mother brought a son and told Gandhiji that he takes sugar in, what do you call it? In handful. Like this he takes sugar candy and all. It is very bad, but we are telling again and again and again, but this boy doesn't listen to us. Mahatma, you please tell that it should not be done. Mahatma listened to that and tell that you come to me after 10 days. You bring him after 10 days. So after 10 days the mother brought the child. Then Gandhiji said that, see my boy, don't take sugar like that. Little bit of you can take, not like this. That's all. So the mother asked him that, Mahatma, you could have told me this 10 days back to the boy. Why are you asked us to come again after 10 days? Mahatma said, I was also taking lot of sugar. When you told me, I stopped taking sugar. 10 days I have been without sugar. So I have the right to tell him now. Before that I did not have the deservingness or the right to tell him. So because Mahatma was truthful, he did not preach without practicing. That was the idea of our Gurukula system. In our Gurukula schools, the teacher used to live the truth. That is why this Gurukula system was formed, that where the students will live with the teacher. To acquire the virtues, the qualities, one has to live with the teacher. Then automatically the qualities percolate in them, like a process of osmosis, just is unawares it comes. So living the truth is the most important.